Welcome to the Vincent Van Mike Show, where today we'll be finding the best guest of the celebrity world. In this case, for tonight's episode, it will be the music world. We will have our special guest, Leslie Spike, who will be entering in just a moment after I drink some of this beautiful water. I'm sorry for the creepy eyebrow raise I just did, but here's Leslie Spike!
Oh yeah! Hey, good to see you, man.
Pump it up.
Yeah, it's been a few years, hasn't it?
It sure has.
Yeah.
So, what's new?
Well, I just got done the Australian leg of my most recent tour from the Magic Pump album.
Okay.
And now I'm back in the States for a few months. Gonna take a little break before getting back in the studio to work on a new project.
Which is... What's up?
Well, there's gonna be a new sort of retro rock collaboration, you know. It's going to be going back to like the 80s and 90s in musical style. You know? It's going to be very
retro.
Very retro, but it's going to have like a modern edge. It's going to be like a social commentary.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of a commentary are we thinking about here for this new spectacular album?
Well, it's not going to be too much like the old way of doing things. It's going to be very much a contemporary look at the problems that we face today. Oh, what am I kidding? It's just going to be a lot of noise.
But is this going to be good noise for today's children? I mean, they face a lot of problems like penguins destroying their houses and polar bears destroying their cars. And we don't even live in Antarctica, and we're facing these problems every day in our daily lives. So, is there a way we can try to, maybe you're going to remedy these with your lyrics, or...
Well, what we're going to do is, you see, the penguins and the polar bears cannot stand the greatness of a good hard electric guitar.
Okay.
So what we're going to encourage these kids to do is play this music very loud, especially late at night when their parents are trying to sleep. That way, the penguins will be scared away.
Okay, that could work, right? Right, everybody?
Yeah, I think so. I kind of doubt it.
They think so.
That's good, because that's how we do things.
Good.
And, I don't know, people tend to find messages in my songs, but really they're just about having a good time, making some noise, and just being crazy. You know?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. People tend to take things a little too seriously, like, that girl that, stabbed herself in front of the arena last year. You all remember that story.
No, actually, I don't think I do. Did you...
Yeah,
she... detail here. I'd like to hear the gruesome details, because I'm not creepy at all.
Right, well, she was listening to the lyrics of the song Smartfoot, and it sounds like... And the song was really about being a kid in Little League in Ohio. It was a story I read about in the newspaper, but she seemed to take it as a metaphor for like an epic suicide.
Really?
And she thought she was trying to impress me. Fortunately, she survived the incident,
That's
They rushed her to the hospital, they patched her up,
Yeah.
I visited her there, I gave her an autograph.
That was nice of you.
Mm-hmm.
Leslie Spike, a nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, any concerts for the summer?
Well, yes. I'm going to be touring this new album. We have 25 shows lined up in the United States and another 10 in Canada.
I'm sorry, I should have made that more clear. I said this summer, but it's the end of the summer, so I'm kind of confused why you're saying you have all these tours lined up.
Well,
sounds like you're... Is he lying to us?
Yeah,
I think he's lying to us. Leslie?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm right. There's not going to be any more concerts until at least November because we're going to be taking some time into the studio.
Phew. I thought this guy is a nice guy. Oh, sorry. Continue.
Well, yes, we're going to have some concerts, and we're working on a stage show that's going to hopefully put all the other stage shows we've had to shame.
Okay.
Now, when we play this outdoor arena, what I plan to have is this giant Ferris wheel-like contraption with 4 circular compartments like this, and it's going to spin slowly. And each of the band members, me, Bobby, Richie, and Tom, will all get into one of the circular revolving cars, and it will spin. It's about 120 feet high, and it will spin while we are playing our show. And
I'm sorry, can I interrupt here? What about the band member Bertha? She's played the xylophones and the accordion. Is she still in this band?
Well, the thing is, she gets a little bit nauseous on those kind of carnival rides,
Okay.
And she wanted to stay on the ground. Besides, if we put 5 circles instead of 4, the structural integrity would have to be reworked. So she's going to stay on the ground and play from there.
I don't mean to pry into this personally, but I think maybe last year you and Bertha were having some problems.
Well, yeah. There was that incident where she locked herself in the dressing room right before the show, and she didn't want to come out.
Yeah.
And I was banging on the door, and I was like,
or banging her.
That's freaking hilarious.
yeah. Well, things happen on the road. It's a long road. We get tired sometimes. But anyway, we were in there, and she was like, no, I refuse to come out. The rest of the band thinks I'm silly. The press laughs at me. And I'm like, no, Bertha, you're the heart and soul of this band. Come on, get out here. And finally it was my agent, Tony, who was able to talk her out. He could talk the bark off a tree.
Yeah, Tony Fernandez, quite a guy.
Yeah.
Class act.
He is a class act. I'm lucky that he picked me up back in '96 when this all started.
And you were only 2 then.
I know. It's quite. He had quite the eye.
I know. Even from an early age, like a toddler playing little guitar. There was 4 times the size of him, but this guy, he played like Beethoven on the guitar. He was amazing.
I know. Yes, my parents had 8 tracks of Beethoven that I would put on, and I would try to emulate the sound on the guitar as the 8-track played.
I was always confused when my parents used to tell me that Beethoven was in Black Sabbath, but no, he wasn't. He was in Poison.
Yes, he was in Poison, and he also did one tour with Guns N' Roses, but, they clashed a lot. Beethoven was too hard of a partier even for them. He used to throw the, he used to take the dressers out of hotel rooms and throw them out the windows.
Really?
Yes. Unfortunately, no one was killed, but, there were a few close calls.
It's nothing like Tchaikovsky, like when he was a member of U2.
Right.
He did amazing things.
I know, it was quite
Him
nice.
and the Edge.
Yeah, they used to really wreck things up. We played a few shows with them, and we drank after the show, and man, I thought I could get rowdy when drinking, but those guys, they were just everywhere. They were one of them took this chainsaw and grabbed it by the blade and was swinging it around. And I'm like, whoa, man. And I kept having to duck it, you see.
I can't believe Tchaikovsky would do such a thing.
Well, he's a crazy guy, They say his father used to beat him with a dry noodle.
A dry noodle? I didn't know he was Chinese. Or is he? He might not be Chinese. He might be different part of.
Well, I think he was a cook at a Chinese store.
He was a cook. Okay.
Yeah, and he had this dry noodle he used to whip him with, and I'm not sure if you've ever been hit by a dry noodle by accident, if you were passing a Chinese place and the noodle came flying out, but
Almost. There was an incident last year.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
actually it was a broad noodle, but luckily I ducked. It was really
good.
big though. Almost hit me in the head.
When those noodles hit you, it really hurts.
Yeah, they can knock you unconscious. It's ridiculous.
I know.
They should really make lighter noodles at restaurants.
They really should, because it's not worth it. Like Tchaikovsky, he's a really messed up guy. I mean, he's been hitting the bottle hard.
Yeah?
That's
not good.
There was a time back a few years ago.
Should we even be discussing this in front of a studio audience? That's kind of a personal thing.
I know, but
kind of dissing your friend Tchaikovsky, this could maybe, this could be in the newspapers tomorrow.
I know, but he's already said all this in interviews, and if he wants to say anything bad about me, it's okay. I don't really have anything to hide.
All right. Okay. It's gonna be stuck in TMZ tomorrow, though. It's really stupid.
Yeah, it's okay.
You don't care? You're Leslie Spike. Who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah, when you're Leslie Spike, who cares? I mean, I've had my fair share of controversy.
I see you brought your guitar today. You gonna play us a song on our way out?
Yeah, I can play a song for you. Now, back in the State Fair of '63, which means, it was the anniversary of the State Fair of '63 that they invited me to.
Okay.
I played this song, I was really strung out, really kind of, just out of it. But I created this great solo, and I'm going to replicate it for you today. It went something like this.
That was the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Well, I'm touched. It sounds better amplified, but, I think the idea carries through on the acoustic guitar.
I don't want to cry.
It's alright. Have some water.
Hey. I missed.
That's alright.
Can I have... Well, that was an obvious miss, but I think I missed again.
Ah, that's
I'm
too
all wet
bad.
right now. This kind of sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's alright.
Well, I think you should go, because I'm all wet, and
Yeah.
I think it's the end of the show.
Well, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
Hope to come back again.
Thanks. And thanks for getting me all wet, jackass.
Hey, you gotta, if you want to play with the boys, you gotta get wet sometimes.
Sure. Alright, fine, Lizzie. Go. Just leave. Bitch.